Hi, it's KB again, and if you didn't already, make sure you check out the first half of this show. And remember to check out mywsetv.com for the latest That's Atlanta postings. mywsetv.com, the way TV watching should be.
Okay. Well, tell us about your character in the film.
Well, Randy's the bad guy. I Can Do Bad All By Myself is pretty much about Taraji P. Henson's character. And after the loss of her mother, she inherits her sister's 3 children who showed up at Medea's doorstep because they're related. And Taraji's character is Medea's niece. And so Medea brings these kids over, and the story is about how having to take care of these young 3 kids changes Taraji's life for the better. You know, she happens to be in a relationship with Randy, me, and she also happens to take on Sandino, a Mexican immigrant that is working for the church and needs to find, he's a handyman, needs to find things to do. So you end up with these 3 kids, myself, and Adam Rodriguez's character all in one house. Something's got to give. And the movie explores that and how this one woman, you know, struggles to, you know, manage all these new changes and additions to her life, and you know, find herself in and amongst all those changes. And it's a special story about strength and about identifying, you know, what's good in you, and you know, bringing those things out, because everybody can do all bad by themselves, but if you're gonna have people around, find people that are gonna add value, that are gonna lift you up. And you know, sometimes it just takes somebody removing the veil from your eyes to see what's preventing you from reaching your full potential, and that's what the message of this movie is.
Grandma used to tell us to pray about it.
And that's what you ought to do, y'all. Pray about it. Talk to the Lord about it.
Would you teach me?
What roles attract you the most?
I mean, you know, there's light and dark in all of us. So I like good characters, I like bad characters. They just have to have a message or a lesson that individual character purports to the audience. You know, if they can feel me, if I can touch the viewer in some way with some kind of message, some kind of emotion, some kind of notion, then it's a role for me. If I can break borders, break stereotypes, tear down walls by being cast in a role that might not, I mean, I think 75 to 80% of the roles that I play are not written for an African-American actor. And for me, that's always been a, you know, stereotype that I wanted to tear down, because, I mean, I don't really know a whole lot of African-American, Ivy League educated, stockbroker, NFL, professional lacrosse players. You know, it's a combination like Barack. I don't know a lot of presidents that have the kind of swag where, you know, they can come out in front of their tubes, dribble between the legs and drain a 3, and then give a speech. You know, it just doesn't happen every day, and so I'm hoping that we can get more of those kind of images. You know, Will Smith, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Don Cheadle, upstanding, but able to play the villain, able to play the good guy, able to worry about philanthropy, be a good role model, and show that, you know, black folks, like all other folks, are multifaceted, not one thing, diverse, individual, unique, not dictated by, you know, your ethnicity as far as how you have to talk, how you have to walk, how you have to be. You can be all that, the full spectrum, and by being able to do good and bad, I can show one package can have all of those things.
Now, what would be your ultimate role?
I mean, there's a lot of roles that I want to play, man. I mean, I'd love to play Joe Louis. I'd love to play Ken Norton. You know, both of their lives were, they were cram filled with so much. I mean, Ken Norton, from Mandingo to football to boxing to, you know, with his son with football, to, you know, what he went through in his life as far as how African Americans were defined, and, you know, the highs and lows that he had. I'm inspired and intrigued by those kind of stories. And Cory Booker, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, I became aware of him in a documentary called Street Fight that my agent Marty Bowen sent to me and said, you know, B, with your background, I think this is a character that you should be aware of, and then maybe can get this movie made. You know, just the kind of roles that really have a message and hopefully will illuminate society to, you know, some of these stories and some of these struggles, and, you know, that we've actually overcome, and can, you know, have some new messages on the big screen. Anything that's new.
I heard you do your own stunts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why would you do that and give up, like, you know, put your career at risk and
because they can't find anybody that can do them as well as me yet.
I mean, what is it that you do so special that you have to do it yourself?
The big thing about doing your own stunts as an actor is audiences are so savvy, man. You know, when there's a lot of cuts and you can't see somebody's face, and you cut behind their head and you don't ever see their face, and you know it's not the actor, you know it's a stunt man. So as an ex-NFL guy, you know, I'm used to getting hit, I'm used to taking hits, I'm a choreographer, I'm a dancer, so I'm used to learning the moves and everything, but in a quick, you know, pace.
All right, that's what? play, Sean?
I always rep that Tennessee State University.
Tennessee State,
Yeah,
okay.
Go Big Blue Tigers. What college did you go to?
Oh, Dartmouth College. Go Big Green, man.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, now what? Did you play any sports while you was in college?
I did. I played a little basketball. My best sport's baseball, but it just is a slower moving game. So I like more contact sports. So football and lacrosse, those are my fortes. Played both professionally, played both in college for 4 years. So I couldn't really call it between the two of them.
Tell me about your first television role.
Moesha.
Go to the.
Yeah.
You to the.
I mean, it was random again. You know, I was in LA. I was trying to go back to professional football. I was meeting with my sports agent and just talking about my career path. I was like, definitely not interested in the Wall Street thing anymore. So, let's try to go back to the Raiders or get me in camp with another team so I can get back. I'm kind of jonesing for that. And while we were sitting there talking and everything, a casting director came over and handed a business card and said, "Are you an actor? Like your look, we're having an open call tomorrow. We need a lot of guys." I was like, no. My agent was like, "Well, what's this card about?" Casting director, yeah, he'll come tomorrow. After all that, I go down there, it's like 500 dudes auditioning or whatever, and they decided they weren't even going to cast the role. It was for Brandy's love interest, and what had happened on the show is they went from somebody that was already on the show became the love interest, but they decided, we need that guy from that audition, what we were going to cast to be another love interest, and they gave me a recurring role. So one day, one audition in LA, and I had a recurring role in this TV show. And I met a producer who's the producer of I Can Do Bad All By Myself, Ruben Cannon, who gave me 2 more jobs. So within the first 30, 45 days I was in Hollywood, I had 3 jobs.
What other movies do you have coming out or television shows?
Men of a Certain Age is a show that I'm doing with Ray Romano, Scott Bakula, Andre Brower, and a host of other great characters, which is about 3 40-something-year-old men who've been friends since college and how life changes each decade of your life, and so how they're adjusting to life in their 40s. And then Cabin in the Woods, which is a horror thriller by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard that comes out February 5th. And then a movie called Hickory Nation, which will be out later in 2010, which is a heavy drama piece about what happens when a family in a small Maine town loses their daughter and tries to figure out what happened to her. And I play the husband, Molly Sims is the wife.
What advice would you give to aspiring actors?
The same thing I would give, the same kind of advice I guess I would give to aspiring teachers. Do it because you love it and you just can't see yourself doing anything else, and assume you're going to be broke and nobody's going to give you any credit. Because 99.9% of actors that are in SAG, that have actually even made it into the union, and then all you people out there that are trying to act, you know how hard that can be. 99% of the people that actually make it in the union never make any money doing it. Because most people, that want to get into acting, I'm like, well, you can go act, go do some community theater. And if you decide that that's what you have to do, then you're going to quit your job and try to find a way to do more community theater. But start there. A lot of people seem, I don't want to call it lazy, but they want shortcuts. And they'll say, well, how do I get in movies? Well, have you done theater yet? Nah, I don't want to do theater. I don't want to do TV. I just want to do films. You don't really want to act. You want to be famous. You want to be in movies. You like seeing people on the big screen and say, I want to do that. That's not how you do it. That's like saying, I want to be a stockbroker tomorrow, but I don't want to go to school. I don't want to get the degree. I don't want to take all the series tests. And I just want to get to the place where I'm making all that money. A career in entertainment is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so I would say to anybody out there that's thinking about getting into it, realize that it's a marathon. Realize that it's a struggle. It's a real journey. It's a real challenge. And make sure you're doing it for the right reason.
Now, tell us what Brian White looks for in a woman.
Well, I have a woman, and what I look for in a woman is strength, inner strength. Like I said, I was raised by my mother. She's my hero. That's my idol. That's the person that I respect most in this world. It's really taught me that you can literally do anything and overcome any obstacle if you don't let yourself get in your own way. So I look for an individual, a person that has their own identity, their own interests, who believes in themselves, who's driven, who has a sense of humor, who's open to life and lives it, and somebody that shares my interests. I like to do a lot of different things, and the number one thing I like to do is travel and learn about people and new cultures and new things. And so I need a strong partner that doesn't let me push my ideas or impose my ideas or my will upon them. So I really need a strong partner that gives me a lot of pushback and keeps me grounded and holds me down with all this stuff that's going on in my life. And so You know, those are a few of the qualities that I look for.
My WSCTV, my WSCTV, my WSCTV. We in the streets, but we're the sweet while others can't be. From the K to the Jonesboro, the in-between. We in the streets, but we're the sweet, we on the scene. From hip-hop to politics to the movie screen. Your ladies